and welcome to the Lyfe Podcast. Today, I've got a special guest here with me, Lily Allman, in the Know, Idaho. Available on pretty much all social media stuff, right?
Yep.
I mean, YouTube, Facebook,
TikTok.
Instagram. Oh, holy buckets. All that stuff. We're going to put links down below so you can click that right away. But we know her from In the Know, Idaho. And obviously you do a lot of stuff. We see you everywhere and that's super cool. But this podcast is about getting to know who you are and how you got to this point.
Yeah.
Let's just get right to it.
Let's do it.
Talk to me. Like, who are you?
Oh boy. So I don't like talking about myself, so this is a challenge, but let's see where we can begin. So I'm originally from Seattle, born and raised in the Seattle area. So I didn't actually become an Idahoan until 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're over 5 years.
For 5
so
years.
You're a full Idaho. Come on.
Yeah. Honorary Idahoan at this point. Yeah. And I don't like to associate with Seattle anyways. So.
Good deal. So brothers, sisters, mom, tell me about your family.
Yeah. So I grew up homeschooled and I have 3 younger siblings. I'm the oldest of 4. And growing up homeschooled in the Seattle area was very interesting. That's definitely one of the reasons why we finally decided to move to Idaho, because they would kind of check in on you all the time. Like the school system would send you letters and be like, hey, is your kid coming to school this year? And if not, are they learning math? Like they really wanted to parent you in a way. And it was kind of creepy. So my mom didn't like that at all. So fortunately, Idaho laws are very different.
Yeah.
You're just free to be the parent of your own children.
Let's go freedom, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal. So was schooling the primary reason why you came here, or was there jobs involved, or what happened?
No, yeah, it was pretty politically motivated, but we were also interested in getting some land. Because growing up in the suburbs of Seattle, I don't know how big the little plot was, but it's the suburbs. So you didn't really have space to move around very much. And we had kind of grown up spending a lot of time at a family property that's a couple 100 acres. So we definitely had a taste of freedom in that way. And my sister is really interested in homesteading and farming and the regenerative agriculture movement.
Okay.
So we kind of just felt like we were going to need to spread out at some point. We wanted a little bit of land to become more self-sufficient. Yeah, a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. So would it be fair to say that you're somewhat involved in politics?
Oh, yes, it would.
So tell me about that. At what age did you just get involved in politics? I mean, you probably see this, but it's not totally uncommon to see someone my age be very, very involved, but it's not as common as we'd like to see in someone your age.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I think is super cool. And I wish I would have been more involved when I was younger, because I was just kind of oblivious for so long. I lived in Idaho. We're free. And so that was kind of not really an issue. So tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, ignorance is bliss, but I didn't have the luxury of being ignorant after the events of 2020. So that's basically what propelled me into wanting to understand politics and primarily wanting to understand the Constitution and what my rights were. Because I had always kind of grown up knowing that we had these protected rights and we had this freedom as Americans, but honestly, I had no idea how it actually works, what the nitty-gritty of that actually was. So if you're faced with a question, if someone's going to challenge you on these beliefs, I didn't know how to explain any of it. So I really gave myself a political education over the past 3 or so years.
Okay. And probably the difference for you is that it happened at a young age, where for me, that's when I started to get more involved and kind of figure out what was going on but by 2020, I'm already 50. So I just got into things so much later. Was your family involved in politics growing up, or what about now? Is a lot of your family, would you say you're the most involved, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because you meet some people who are in politics. I'm not really in politics.
Right.
I'm kind of on the outside, but definitely interested in politics. But yeah, a lot of people have family who their dad was a senator or whatever. But yeah, I'm the first one to immerse myself in this topic this much. We were a conservative family, always. A conservative Christian family. So that part, like, it's not like I grew up in a liberal family and then suddenly switched sides or anything. Like, there was that foundation from the beginning. But yeah, never was involved to this extent. We would vote, and that's about it.
Okay. So what did your parents or your siblings have any reaction to, in the know Idaho? Because, sometimes it's very satirical.
Yes.
And I don't think controversial, but some people would be like, oh, dude, whoa, you shouldn't be talking about that or whatever.
Yeah.
Did your family have any reaction to that or whatever?
Not really. It was funny because, like, growing up, no shade to my mom because my mom's awesome, but she kind of said here and there, like, we shouldn't talk about politics growing up.
No.
Which I totally understand growing up in Seattle, too.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's a touchy subject. So that was kind of always in the back of my mind, like, I probably shouldn't talk about politics. But then 2020 rolls around and it gets to this point where I'm like, I have to talk about politics. And it's something that I'm, like, surprisingly passionate about. So I just kind of started doing it with the encouragement of some friends. And my mom was all for it. She's like, this is great. My whole family's all for it, really. Yeah. My parents are divorced, so I don't really see my dad very much or talk to him very much. I'm actually not aware if he knows of In the Know Idaho.
Oh.
I should probably text him.
And he'd love to see it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like, with all of us being on the same page and having the same passion for freedom and for our country, yeah, they totally have my back. That's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So In the Know Idaho, how did that come about? Like, what was inside of you that said, oh, dude, I want to do some satire. I want to have some humor, some comedy, but at the same time, it's comedy about, serious subjects.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to, like, do comedy about the library issue, for example, where they've got these explicit materials that they're literally showing to children every day. And I have to go make this video. Like, this is actually ridiculous, but it's also very sad. Like, if you stop to think about it too long, it's very sad.
It's not logical.
No.
Any logical person, regardless which side of politics you're on, has to think, okay, this material is inappropriate for children. That's what I don't understand. Where's the logic in some of this
I know.
stuff?
There's not a lot of logic being used, but let's see. So your question was, how did I, like, get into comedy?
Yeah,
sort of?
And like, how did In the Know Idaho start?
Yeah. So it started out in early 2020, and it was basically like a way to reach all of the new, like, blue state refugees with local election information. So myself, being from the big city, I get over here and I'm like, all right, how do we vote? Where's the info? And they start handing me these flyers. I'm like, no, that's not going to work out very well. So there was kind of like there was a gap I wanted to fill, just getting that information out to people, especially people who are busy. Like, they really don't have the time to go and meet the candidates. Like, it's important. And if you can, do it. And when things are when times are very tough, you find the time to go and meet with your candidates. Like, if there are high stakes, you find the time. But generally, like, just wanting to make a way for politics to become part of people's lives more easily. So that's kind of what the account was at the beginning. But then last year, with Prop 1 being on the ballot, do you remember Prop 1?
I do.
Yeah. So there's this horrible initiative where basically a bunch of out-of-state money was funding this ballot initiative, and they were trying to change the way that we do elections in Idaho. And my belief is that the reason that they wanted to do that at all is because we're a deeply red state, and this is the only way that they were going to be able to turn it blue.
Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. So just the more I would learn about it, the more I was like, this is a terrible idea. And also, there's no way to explain this because it's so complicated. So I was intending to do, like, a real explanation video. I was going to just do it, like, straight to you, like, this is what it is. But it ended up being so complicated that I was like, I just need to tell people the truth, like, what this actually is. And satire was the perfect delivery method.
Oh, it was. That's the first time I became aware of you. I was watching that video. And it just went crazy. Like,
it made the rounds.
It was so well done. I mean, you did a great job on it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. Comedy is something I've always had an inkling towards, but I didn't know that I was going to be using it for politics.
Come on.
Until last year.
Well, then, if we can't, obviously, again, serious subjects, but if we can't laugh, just be, when people are laughing, they communicate easier. And if we stop communicating and stop talking about issues, even issues we disagree on, oh my goodness, that's the problem that we're in right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I really admire people like the Babylon Bee, where they write a headline and it's just the perfect explanation for all the craziness behind the headline and what people are actually thinking about the issue. So that's kind of what I aspire to.
Come on. Yeah, well, it's funny because I'll see, like a Babylon Bee, headline or something, and then you see just tons of, I can't believe this. I'm like, do you not realize this is satire?
Yeah.
Like, no, a washing machine can't actually talk or whatever. They'll do something. And it's like, no, that's humor. It's comedy. And oftentimes I find that comedy is okay if it's the left making fun of the right, but comedy's not okay if the right is trying to poke fun at the left. And it's like, man, why can't we all just be fun?
Yeah.
And, I don't agree with everyone, but it's okay to laugh about our disagreements or laugh about how we're different.
Yeah, I agree.
Good deal. So that video there for Prop 1, is that what you think kind of, launched, the explosion of In the Know Idaho?
Yeah. In this last year, I think I went from 500 followers on Instagram to we just passed 10,000.
Wow. So, that's a lot for that amount of time.
And
normally people that are like 10,000 or whatever, it's like 10 years or 15 years or whatever.
Yeah, it can be a long progression.
Yeah. So that's cool. So what, do you have friends that are involved in this, or is it like you solo, or tell me about how that all works?
Like with the whole project?
Yeah, like any projects that you're doing, because it's like oftentimes I just see you on camera and I'm like, holy buckets, that's a lot. And it's doable, but are there people that help you with this, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's mostly me at this point. When we were starting out, I definitely had a crew of friends. Like we started it together. Basically. But then as life got more busy, they decided to bow out and they wanted me to keep going. Right now it's basically me. I really don't post that often. And so that's why it's manageable. I'm self-employed, and so my schedule's a little bit flexible. I can find like a couple hours over here to go out and record something. But yeah, for some of the bigger projects that I've done, I was working in collaboration with a couple of organizations. So I got to contract with the Citizens Alliance during the winter, which was really fun, and the Idaho Freedom Foundation. So for those ones, I was definitely like calling up my friends or getting my siblings, be like, will you please help me do this? Because this is going to take days if I do it by myself.
I remember Matt Edwards is a friend of mine, and I remember when I think I was talking to him about the Prop 1 video. I was like, oh, dude, you got to see this. This is awesome. Oh, dude, I've already seen it. In fact, I actually talked to Lily. I think I'm trying to figure out if there's some kind of partnership or some way. So literally that video, I think, is what probably propelled Matt to contact you. And
because we had known each other for a couple of years. I think we met right around the same time that I started this account. And so we had worked on a couple things here and there together. But yeah, definitely after that video, I think people were saying like, we really needed this. Like Idaho needed something like this. And so
I agree.
I was grateful for that. And it's fun to be able to give that.
The crazy thing is I'd seen you at Lyfe prior to, and then when I saw the video, I was like, dude, I think I know that young lady.
That's that one random girl.
Yeah, that was like, that's not, I felt like I knew a celebrity or something.
Yeah.
So that's good. So how is your family acclimated to Idaho? Do they
really
like it? Good, good.
We love it. Yeah, what's not to like?
Hey, I've been here 55 years, which is crazy because I'm only 35, but I've been here 55 years. I love it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine raising my family anywhere else. Yeah. Were you able to get a little bit of land or?
Yeah, we live on 5 acres right now, which is fun. I still get to live with my mom and my siblings. We're all really close, so that's been a fun opportunity to take advantage of. And we get to live the dream every day, it feels like.
Awesome.
So much freedom.
Yeah, that's super cool. And so your whole family, still have family over in the Seattle area? Or?
I do have some family in the Seattle area. My grandparents were just able to move over recently, so that's been nice.
That's super cool.
Yeah. My grandma really wanted to move over, like ever since we had moved over. So excited that that's finally happening, and it's really nice to have them around.
Yeah, my wife and I are just getting to that point where my oldest daughter is married and they're talking about family, and I'm like, what if, and they don't live here, they live down the
Oh,
Boise area.
yeah.
So I'm just like, what if they have children and they live so
Right.
far away? That's going to be, so
Yeah.
I totally understand that for your grandma's viewpoint.
Yeah, we grew up living right next door to them.
Oh yeah. So it was probably
So
really hard when you left.
yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
she probably was like, honey,
We gotta go.
this isn't an option anymore. Now
Yeah.
it's a necessity.
Right.
Good deal. So what like what's happening in Idaho now? Like what
Mhm.
is our projects you're working on? Where do you see it going? Like what's happening?
Yeah. So it's kind of something where I kind of take it day by day because the political landscape changes so rapidly.
It does.
And I want to respond to what's going on in an effective way. So it's kind of hard to plan ahead in that sense because, you could plan like this little project and then all of a sudden no one's talking about that issue anymore.
I know. It's crazy.
So, yeah, so I am working on a bit of a project with some friends, after Charlie Kirk's assassination. What was that? A month or so ago now. There are so many people who started reaching out to me wanting to get involved in new ways, which was awesome. And I'm so excited for that. I'm sorry that this had to happen, but at the same time, like, it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So, uh, I'm working on like sort of a podcast with some friends, so I'll definitely be sure to share that around when that
Come on,
comes
y'all
to
share it as
fruition.
well.
Yeah, that's a project in the works. I'm definitely wanting to do more comedy on any and every topic. So
Now, to take it to switch gears to a serious deal, are you bothered as much as I am by the fact that so many people seem to be ignoring of like, okay, the Charlie Kirk, assassination is behind us now. Let's move on.
I'm sad to hear that people are moving on so quickly, and I'm glad that that's not happening in my circles. So the people that I'm following are, I think, more invested and they were more affected by what happened. And so maybe it's like we're not even thinking about moving on. We were changed by that.
Yeah.
Like there's these memes going around like the people pleasing left our bodies basically when that happened. Like I think the reason why it's so impactful is because he was killed for telling the truth and sharing the gospel.
Right.
And it's a big free speech issue too. So like now we all feel like we're not safe and we're not willing to let this continue on the trajectory that it is on.
Right. Yeah, I just read like yesterday or the day before that JD Vance hosted a Turning Point, deal. He spoke at one and the questions that he got were people are demanding answers, and it's your generation, which is so cool. They're like, hey, hold it here. The narrative that you guys are giving us is not okay. Is something's not adding up.
A little fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Well, yeah, without getting too far into it, the narrative that's being told to us is physically impossible to happen the way that they say that it happened. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, now why are we, I know people lie, but when people lie and they know that we know they're lying and they're still going to lie to us and say, nothing you can do about it. That's where that's where I get a little
problem.
bit upset. Yeah. So I didn't mean to turn it that direction.
Oh yeah, that is something that people are still talking about a lot.
Yeah, that's good. It's it really is. If we look through history, just all sorts of history in different civilizations, different places, different groups, it often most of the time, it's our young people that lead change. You look back at the Constitution, you realize how in the Bill of Rights, how young some of those people were that were writing these documents. It's crazy. And so I say, man, keep your voice out there, get your friends talking and be the change. That's what I say.
Yeah, me too. I think that's exactly what we need. Because even if you're not going to run for political office or you don't have all this time to invest in the cause of politics, everyone has an area of influence in their life.
Yep.
Whether you work at the grocery store, you're a cashier, you get to talk to people every day too. And
yes.
Everyone has those relationships in their lives where they have some influence with people. And I think if we can just really use that to its full potential, don't just sit around and let people walk all over you anymore. Tell them the truth, things like that. That's what Charlie Kirk did. And so I think that's kind of what a lot of us are inspired to do now is just tell the truth more often.
Right. It's, yeah, I totally agree. It's not enough to, and this is a paraphrase, but it's not enough to stand for truth. It's refusing to bend when they try to silence you. That was said by someone that I admire greatly, Charlie Kirk. So, and it is, it's like, dude, I'm not going to be silent. You know, I'm not going to just sit here and let you dictate things that I know are not right.
Exactly.
And things that I know that are contrary to what our country was founded on and contrary to our freedom. So, man, keep the fight up.
Thank you.
So, possibly podcast coming.
Yep.
Some projects happening in the works.
Yeah.
Do you, like, now that you've been to God's country, Idaho, is this like where you see yourself staying for a long time?
Yeah. It's hard to imagine like going anywhere else at this point because I don't want to go back to the city because they're too disconnected from reality. And like I have family close by, there's a lot of ties here. And it's just a great place to live. Like what more could you ask for?
I
So
know. It's,
yeah,
yeah,
for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Come on. My wife and I, you know, we both grew up here. We were married young and we went to college away from here. But right when we graduated, we had opportunities. We were over in the Seattle area, you know, for jobs and that kind of thing. Both of us thought, man, if we're, you know, we wanted to have children and we couldn't think of a better place to raise our kids than here. So we're, you know, I think it was maybe the day after we graduated that we were gone.
Really?
It's like, yes. It was like, why would I want to stay in Seattle?
Yeah.
You know, for me, the traffic, all that stuff. There's definitely excitements, you know, exciting things happen in the city. But man, the city's okay for me to visit, but not for me to live every single day.
Yeah, that's how I feel now. Because I was kind of sad to leave Seattle.
I could see that.
Yeah, like they've got all the cool stores and a lot of cool opportunities and, you know, but ultimately you get here and you feel safe and you feel like you feel known, like you have relationships with your neighbors or the people you work with in different ways that you just don't get in a big city, like when the community isn't close knit and you feel free. No
There
brainer.
you go. Come on. Well, I, for one, would just say thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for having a voice. Thanks for having the courage and the bravery to share your voice, because it's easier at times to sit and be silent. It's easier at times like, oh my goodness, when people maybe say derogatory things or whatever, it's easier to just be like, oh, okay, I probably, you know, could stay silent on this. Thanks for talking. Thanks for speaking up. Thanks for leading. So I appreciate it as a community member.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. And I appreciate you too. Like when you started Lyfe Coffee, that was such a blessing to have a place to meet when it felt like the whole world was against you. And it was such a cool spot. And like, obviously, we were all so sad that it got torn down very unfairly and that's kind of the direction that the story was headed. But yeah, I'm so excited that you're still doing stuff like this and still like elevating cool people in our community and just for all the work that you do. I'm really grateful for you too.
That's awesome. Man, life is live your freedom every day.
Yeah.
I'm a big freedom person. Man, if people are in the fight for freedom and they're speaking up, and I don't even have to agree with them. If they're willing to, and that was obviously another thing that was so difficult about Charlie Kirk. He was doing it the right way, you know, peaceful dialogue.
Yeah.
And he would welcome, encourage, ask for people that disagreed with him to have, you know, agreeable disagreements.
Yes.
And yet it was, you know, obviously some people didn't like.
Yeah, he was very undeserving of what happened to him. And I went to a Charlie Kirk event in April. So I got to see him doing his thing. And there was like these counter protesters over to the side. It was like a bunch of transgender people and stuff like that with their signs. And they were yelling and just kind of wanting to argue rather than talk. Because the Turning Point employees, they would come over and be like, guys, would you like to go talk to him? Because we'd be happy to escort you up there. You could ask anything. You can tell him anything. And they were totally refusing to engage. So yeah, it's really sad that so many people just don't even want to talk. Like they're just so connected to their own idea.
Right.
They're just holding on to it for dear life because I think they know that if they open it up to scrutiny, it's not going to hold up.
Right. It's probably a sore subject and maybe we'll edit it out, but that was the crazy thing about the No Kings protesters. Most of those people had no idea what they were protesting.
No.
We're against we don't want no kings. I'm like, well, it's good that you live in a country that we don't have a king.
Congratulations.
We just it's like, it was so crazy, and people will hold signs up and you ask them like, well, what happened to, no idea. It's just,
I was just watching a little video about that today that the Idaho Freedom Foundation did. They went to the protest in Boise a couple weeks ago, and all these people were saying like they think Trump is a fascist. And then you would ask them to define fascism, and they don't know what a fascist actually is. They just heard it and they're scared of the idea. So yeah, it's like you really have to be willing to talk about these ideas and challenge these beliefs that you have, because otherwise you might realize that you have just been going along with something that you were told, but that actually doesn't have any real foundation.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Yeah. The weird thing is opening a coffee shop Lyfe, dude, I experienced that.
Really?
I was called a fascist, a white nationalist, a homophobic, a xenophobe, all the stuff, like every word, people just throw them out. And I'm like,
ridiculous.
Dude, you don't even know me. But
yeah,
this one time we had and I was I let people speak there if they wanted to speak. Then I had numerous politicians hold town hall meetings there that I was not going to vote for. I disagreed with, but I was like, man, if, let yourself be heard, so if someone called me up and said, hey, I'm running for, I remember we had someone running for governor that I was not going to vote for at all. And I want to do a town hall meeting there, and have people. I'm like, sure, let's set it up. And we set up, well, I had a person that came and spoke on medical freedom. And she was an attorney from California and did some stuff. And she wanted to inform people about what your medical freedoms are. And that just caused so much craziness. There are people that were just, calling me everything, well, do you know that she belongs to this religion or that religion? I'm like, no, I don't. She asked me if she could speak. Yeah. And I said, sure. Again, it's like freedom of speech. It's kind of a thing that I kind of hold dear. Well, this one person wouldn't stop just harassing me. And normally I just ignore the stuff. But finally I was like, no, I don't know which religion she is. No, I don't know what's, this person, called me up, asked, she speaks on medical freedom, was given her a platform. And this lady said to me, if you let her speak, I will call everyone that I know to give you a bad review. I'll look to see who your followers are and try to give their businesses bad reviews.
Oh my goodness.
She listed all these things that she was going to do to me if I let this woman speak. And she ended her speech with, "You're nothing but a fascist." And so I was like, I normally, again, I don't respond, but I just type back to her. So you're going to try to destroy my business, my family, and my friends' businesses if I don't do what you want me to do, but you think I'm a fascist.
Right.
It's like, what's the problem?
Ridiculous.
So I don't know. I might edit that out.
That's a funny story, though.
That was my rant.
Yeah.
Well, again, it seems like I say this often, but the podcast for me is a chance to sit down with people that I think are super cool and very interesting and get to know them a little bit. So I might just be doing this podcast for selfish reasons. But Ben, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking with me. And thank you for your voice. It's appreciated by a lot more people than just me.
Wow. Thank you. That means a lot.
Totally. Hey, if you like what you saw or you are interested in hearing people's stories and getting to know people in our community, man, like this, share this, follow this, whatever you have to do to make these algorithms work better. You would know would know all that more than me.
All those comments. Those comments are key.
Yeah, we would love it. And man, thanks for watching and thanks for tuning in. And I will see you next week on another episode of the Lyfe Podcast. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.
Thank you.